So, hello everyone. We will talk in English. I'm not sure if there is still anyone in the room that doesn't speak, so to be sure, we'll speak in English. So, I'm André Maia. I'm a product owner at Porto Tech Center. He's José Santos. He is a tech leader, and today we're going to talk about... What, sorry?
You got my name right, yeah.
So it was good, it was good. So this is my first time speaking in front of so many people, so, please be gentle with me. Basically, I'm going to tell you a story about the way we work, how we work, and because we build things for Africa. For that, we use Google tools to try to make things better, faster, stronger. Okay, so let's start. So, we work for Jumia Travel. We were already introduced. We have a hotel booking website. We are actually #1 in Africa. But working for Africa is actually one of our biggest challenges. And our biggest challenge working there, I don't know if anyone has any idea what can be the biggest challenge when working in Africa. Any idea? No idea? Okay, you saw the presentation before. Okay. Also, that didn't count as a correct answer, but that's right. I'm just going to change my, And yes, so basically our biggest challenge is internet, the speed of the internet. So, currently, no, it's not me, it's just a turtle. So, currently, most of the internet there, it's a 2G, and 75% of the users have a 2G connection. And worse, in 2020, there will still be 45% of the users working on a 2G connection. So, how do we build websites for people that have such a slow connection? For us, it's super fast. We open our apps inside the office, everything works super well, super fast, but then we get there and we have an issue, okay? So that's exactly what we did. So because of performance, we invested a lot of time and effort. I'm not going to speak about money, but that's usually what comes after time and effort, to try to improve our apps and websites. So we went there and we asked the guys, so what do you guys think about our product, Is it fast enough? And the answer would be yes. But no. The answer was mobile site is way too slow. So we have an issue. But I said, but we have a super good app. We have an Android app. At this time, we had an Android app. Now we have both. And we said, okay, guys, so just download our app. It's super good. They say no, because it takes too much space. It's just 30 megabytes, but it's too much space for the phones that they use. So because of that, we wanted something that, now I'll just read the phrase, because it's a super good phrase, that is fast on slow connections without compromises on user experiences. This is exactly what we wanted. Okay, for that we started investigating a bit, and we came up with progressive web apps. They promised a lot. So what they promised was, it should be fast, it should be reliable, and it should be engaging. So we said, okay, let's give it a try. Then we spoke to José, and José will speak in just a moment, And we asked them, can you try? Let's try to build a prototype or something. And for that, we use the app toolbox, and now José will.
Hi, Maia. Thanks.
I'll just be in the background doing some breakdance or something.
As head of development, I'm in my corner developing, like most of you guys, and I get a product manager that comes to me and says, José, we need to be faster. We need to have something faster. I think that most of you will like with this, okay, we need to be faster. So we have the solution for you, which is nice. It's a product manager that has the solution for the tech team. We have the progressive web apps. And I'm like, okay, I will check on that. So I did what probably most of you guys do, is Google progressive web app. What is it? So yeah, all those promises are the main experience that the progressive web app meant to be. But also with the progressive web app, I read a little bit more, and it's supposed to give to the user an offline experience because he has the service worker. What is a service worker? And other goodies like push notifications and stuff like that. So I thought, yeah, why not? Why not trying it? Maybe the product manager this time is right. So checked a little bit more on this, and I found out about a nice library, Polymer. So I don't know if you guys know Polymer or ever heard about Polymer. Did you? Yeah? So I double-checked Polymer because they already have a web component for the service worker, which make my life pretty much easier. But then I read a little bit more about Polymer because I got a little bit more interested. So I put on the side the progressive web app for 1 minute, and I check on Polymer. And with Polymer, at the time it was called Polymer Starter Kit. Currently it's the app toolbox. This is what we use. And I checked on the Starter Kit, and it was super cool. Why? Because I have already all the practices there, the good practices on the Starter Kit. It was for free. I had a set of tools, extraordinary tools to start building web components, to actually build the application at the end, and to have things that the progressive web app should be. The feeling of being in a native app and having an app shell. So I took a deep dive on the toolbox. I really love it. And I decided, yeah, why not? Let's build a prototype then. So I decided to do a prototype that should be something close to what we had at the time, our native Android application. So we built like in 4 weeks the main funnel, or half of the main funnel. Home screen, catalog page, hotel details, and home details page. It was really great to see, sorry. We did it, and we were really happy. We saw what we did, and it was a product that actually we could actually ship because it was consistent, it was working. So we decided to take some metrics to understand if it was worthwhile. So we saw it was twice faster in terms of page load than our current mobile website. It was 6 times less data consumption comparing to the native app to download, and it was 30% less data on the network comparing to our current mobile. André talked about the fact that in Africa, connections are slower. But the reason why Africans don't want to download the application because it says it takes too much space, understand that the most common phone over there has a small amount of space in terms of storage, but also their data plan is very, very small. It's like 50 megabytes per month, and it will cost something like 20% of their wages. So they don't have that amount of money to spend actually on these kind of things. So the fact that we could reduce so much in comparison with the native app was so great. But for me, as a tech lead, I really need to understand the next bullet point. Is this technology so new that it's to stay, or something that will go away because it's just an hype, everything is cool, it's another framework? It's not a framework, it's a library, but it's another new things. Well, so I decided to talk with the guys that I think they know better about this. So I contacted the Chrome dev tool, the Chrome dev team. And the guys told me, give me some advices. And the best advice I think that I got was, hey, use the platform, and what it means to use the platform. The platform is pretty much the standards, and every day we work with the standards. We have the HTML, the web, all of these are standards, and some of them already exist like for 15 years. So it means that if you have a standard, it's meant to stay. So web components are now, from today, I don't know if you guys know, on their abandoned release, on their version 1. At the time we built this, we were using the V0 version of the web components. And looking at this, we decided to go a little bit backwards and to rethink about our mobile application. So we went to use JavaScript, pure JavaScript, take some advantage in terms of performance using the database storage that you have on your browser, like IndexedDB. And of course, we decided to change the way we were doing things to orient them on web component based using Polymer. With the combination of all of this, it was possible for us to remove a lot of frameworks that we have in JavaScript on our applications. Frameworks like those that I want to say the names, but format your website, make it responsive and stuff like that. For us, it was really important to understand the meaning of use the platform. I think if you search about these topics, you will see the hashtag a lot.
Okay, so everything is looking good. Everything looks great. It's a really nice picture. High definition, everything. But so we decided everything looks good. Let's go to production. But that's when our biggest challenges started again, because life is a big challenge. So we just noticed the biggest challenges were still ahead. People, we had to deal with people expectations, mostly top managers. We had product decisions to be made, product design. We already had a product, so this one needs to be better than the last one. We have technical issues that, it's a more or less recent framework, so it can bring us some issues. So we needed to manage change. We would say that by default, people are usually lazy. I'm lazy, he's super lazy, so, and people don't like change, just ask someone to change share in the office, they will be super suspicious about it, So people don't like it. So we needed to make sure that we have our top management support on this. So we basically built a successful user, We added some metrics, and he got convinced. So we had a green light. Then we also need to train our developers because, new technology, we need to take time for developers to learn. We involved some of them on the prototype phase, and they learned something, and then they could also share some knowledge. So it was a good thing to do. Then came the product challenges. First one is app discovery. Let's go here. So we have the native app that we have it already. And the native app is on the store. On the store, you put the app inside the category. So it should be travel and local, I think. Then you have text, you have image, you have pictures, you have descriptions, you have a bit of everything. So people that go to the App Store, actually not App Store, sorry, the Play Store on this situation, they go there, they search for it, and they will find it because they are searching for something specific. They know what they are searching for, and they will find it. Okay? On the web app, there is no store. Okay? It's just a website at the end. So this is our current native app, current home screen. So we have here, you can, well, let me see where I can put those cool lights, okay? I always wanted to use this. So here you see, we don't...
This is why I brought them.
Yeah. So, here we have hotels, okay? Because we load, people know that they are using an app for hotel bookings, so we immediately load hotels on the home screen. Usually these are hotels around us for someone that wants to find a quick hotel, On the web app, not so quite. We need to tell people exactly what it is, how to find us. So, again, so we put, no. Now you saw it all.
Oh, you're showing all, man.
Yeah,
Stop.
Let's go back, okay. So, here on top we put our brand, that is Jumia Travel. Here we put a catchphrase, here we put some unique sentences, and then at the end we put the footer. The footer with about us, sorry, not footer, what's important here, it's about us. Okay? So people have enough information to understand who we are and what the app does. Then comes the branding. On native apps, usually 100% of the users land on the home screen. I would say not all of them land, because we can use deep linking and send them directly to an hotel list or to wherever you want, or to an hotel detail. But as like normally, they will land on the home screen.
Stop. Do you know how many will land on the home screen on desktop? On your mobile phone, on the web? Do you have an idea? Someone? So, 17, you think?
7-0 or, okay.
7-0? Let's see.
Okay, so let's see. Actually, next time we'll do that very cool things like I didn't know about it, but I will use it next time. So, no, actually only 20%. You know why? Because usually people land on a website based on a Google search. And when they search for, I want hotels in Lagos, or I want hotels in Nairobi, or whatever. It doesn't matter. So usually it will be directed to already an hotel list, or they search directly for an hotel name, and they will end up in the hotel directly. So it's very rare, like only 20% of the users land on the home screen of the app. So, again, this is the native app. Let me use this again, okay? This is our native app. This is the hotel list. So, this is basically, after the home screen, we get to this page, and this shows a list of hotels, and then you can filter and sort and do whatever you guys want with this. Sorry, there is no branding anywhere. No catchphrase, no nothing. Why? Because people know what they are using, so there is no need for it. On the web app, we needed to build this top bar where we put the brand, and also we also use it then to change currencies and language and stuff like that. Here it is. And then, again, at the end, on the bottom, we have the About Us to explain. If people need to understand what they are using, who does it belong to, they go to About Us and they will understand. Now comes navigation part. So, on a native app, both Android and iOS, they have their own framework, they have their own, you know, how do you say, predefined ways to, you know, for a user to navigate the app. Here, we don't have that, you know, it's a new app. We needed to decide. So what we did, we use historical navigation. So because this is basically a browser, this is a browser, so you're reading a website, so when you click back, you go back in history. So if you come from the home page to the hotel list, you click back, you go to the home page again. Okay? Both top and bottom button. Oh, and if by any chance, I was going to forget this, if by any chance the user starts getting lost going up and down the hierarchy, they can always click the top logo, Jume Travel, that will take them to the home page. So it's an anchor for the guys that get lost. They will click and they will find themselves in the home page again. So then we have basically two types of pages. The main pages, that are these ones, and we'll go to a bit more detail on them. And secondary pages that will also go on a bit detail after this. So the funnel pages, the main funnel pages. So this is basically home page, hotel list, hotel detail, checkout. What is the difference between this and the next one? So these ones respect website hierarchy. Again, you go up and down the hierarchy, you know, from top to bottom. We have the browser navigation history. If you press back, you go to the previous page that you were. We have a dedicated URL folder, because if you want to send someone directly, so you guys build up a campaign, you know, on Google, and you want to promote a specific hotel, you put the direct URL, so this is important to have. Okay? And it's branded for new users, because users, when they land on each one of these pages, but it's the pages that they can land, they need to have the brand that they are looking at. Secondary pages, not so important. Basically, for data input, we have a cross on the top. There's no need to add browser history navigation, no need for branding, because again, no one will land directly on any of these pages. So, and if they click back, what we do, we close the window. There is no back, there is a closing the window, and we show the page that we were previously. Okay, now technical challenge.
So yeah, after building the prototype, the product management team investigate a little bit more about all these issues, because we want to have a native app-like experience on the web, and they found out about all these problems. And they came to me again and they say, well, this is the problem we want you to fix. So, okay, then. So we find all those solutions for those problems, like the secondary page. If you click on the back button, the physical back button, it will actually close the secondary page without changing the navigation. Of course, it's not true. This is what you see, it's not what happened, because it actually goes back on history. There's no way to go around this. But there was other technical challenge that we had to face. The first one, it was pretty much a new mindset. Like, look, you have teams of developers that are used to work on like classical web. You have a user doing a click, request to the server, gets a page, and it works pretty much like that. But since we decided to go with the web component approach, and we changed the architecture to something close to a single page application. I'm sure that all of you already know what is a single page application. It's super cool. You can do a lot of special effects and stuff like that. But since for us it's really, really important, the performance of that page, we kind of needed to make sure we were not giving to the user the full application in a single request. What I mean is like a user getting to the home screen, for instance, downloading all the application at once. So for that, we used the cool things that the app toolbox had to give us, like the service worker and the purple pattern. So I'm going to actually change trade places. I'm going to talk first about the purple pattern. Do someone knows what it means, purple, in this case? Someone been interested? You know it. Okay, so the purple, if I'm saying right, is push. The first P is for push, which is the purpose for you to serve to the user what it really needs to see what in the URL is requesting. Only that information. The R is to render. And on the concept of the rendering, it's really important to understand two things. The first paint, when the user starts to see something, and the first time to interact, when the user actually can start touching or messing around with your application, even though the application is not fully loaded. It's really, really important. Statistics will say that if the page takes more than 3 seconds to load, the user just will go away. So imagine 3 seconds in 2G. The other P, it's for prefetch, which is actually the trick. Since we only give to the user what it needs to see the page is requesting, On the background, we use the service worker, and I already say service worker like 3 times without explaining it. You know what is a service worker? Not really?
I don't.
You don't?
Sure.
We'll review that on your evaluation. The service worker is like a new, super awesome, cool feature that your browser has. It's like a man running in the background, maybe naked. And what it does actually, it's like a man in the middle. It's like a piece of JavaScript that you can put on your application. And each time you do a request to the network, it will intercept your request. I won't deep dive on this because or else we don't have enough time. But understand that with this power, you can have actually the flexibility to request to the network a file, fetch that file, save on the cache from your browser. Then if there is some kind of problem with the network, something like that, you can actually serve to the user what is in the cache. Or if the file hasn't changed on the network, it's the same file, you can reuse the cache instead of going to the server. And then the L means lazy loading. And this lazy loading is really also important. Even though you can serve all the content that the user is requesting to see on that page, you can create components that you will only fetch asynchronously. What I meant is, in the case of all the secondary pages that you guys saw, the only way to get to those pages is actually through an action. You need to click on a button. You need to click on something. So it's not something that the user, or maybe it's something that the user will never do. You don't know. So you don't need to preload this. You just wait. If the user actually click on that button, you will request to the server the content of that screen. So this is very flexible. It gives you a lot of potential to only download what is necessary, gain the most performance as possible, and to save a lot of data consumption for your customers. Another thing, it's like, and this is to give you an example how the web components are very powerful. The app toolbox brings you a lot of things really out of the box. And one of them is the routing system, which you can use to emulate like URLs on your application, even though you only have a single page. But we only did this prototype and this application for mobile. It's not for the desktop experience. You have like 2 applications. But all our SEO already exists, and we wanted to keep all that knowledge in terms of SEO. So we really wanted to maintain all those URLs compatible. Thanks to the capabilities of the web components, it was possible for us to extend them because web components are nothing less than a piece of presentation, HTML, styling, but also JavaScript. And with this JavaScript, we could extend it and build our own routing system to maintain all the compatibility with the URLs. This was really important, guys.
Okay, so now this brings us to the latest challenge that we face. So finally, after all these challenges, we thought, okay, we should have everything ready, or we are almost ready, but not yet. We had a last effort because when we measured the loading time, okay, so this is
First
not
request.
yet. I know. So the second screen will show you the actually loading time of our old web facing the PWA on a 2G connection. Okay. So you guys can see.
Okay. You have the first print really fast. It's already gone.
Yeah. So this is our problem. Actually, the old web is a lot faster than PWA because it's a single page application. We load everything on first request. Okay? At least first time the user gets it, then he gets cache and stuff. So yeah, whatever. But he will explain a lot more. So because of this, we have an issue. So we need to find a solution because again, if we are making this to improve performance, what's the point of going live with this? If actually the first time the user gets there, it's slower. There is no point on doing it. So we needed to find a solution, and the solution was AMP. Now José will speak about it.
So yeah, imagine my face when I show to the management, hey, we did it, look at the first impression, it's slower. It took 9 months. Imagine the cost, and it's slower. Of course, this was an example on 2G, and for the first impression, what I mean is that as soon as you click on any other fragments, you go to any other page, yes, the progressive web app will kick ass the other one, the old one. in terms of data, in terms of speed, because you already fetch the application. It's on the background thanks to the service worker. But the first impression really counts, you know, and seeing the user waiting that much for the page is not really cool. So once again, talk to the Google guys. Hey, oh my God, you told me to use progressive web apps. It's that worse. And the guys answered to me, what? Use AMP. Once again, I was in this place, or what the hell is AMP? Okay, Google again. And AMP means accelerated mobile pages. And AMP, it's a project from Google that was mainly focused in the beginning for publishers, like news, like you can see the best example is the Washington Post. And the purpose of AMP, it's for you guys to build an AMP version of any page of your website without using JavaScript. So it's a very basic version of the website with the HTML, CSS, and telling Google, oh, you can cache this because it's AMP compatible. And Google will get that page, will cache on their servers, and will put a service worker running on those pages on your phone. It means that each time you search something on Google, the results, if it's AMP compatible, Google will serve the AMP version of that page. It will take more or less 1 second to serve, even on 2G. So it's super fast. So we decided, oh yes, thank God you saved my life. But even though I was thinking, okay, I will put those pages on AMP, but then what? The first impression is cool because AMP is fast, but the second impression will be better because any links on the AMP, since we cannot use JavaScript or super mega features, you need to link everything from that AMP page to your current mobile website. And then start looking at the catalog. And AMP has many web components built on their side. They have a full library. And one of them catch my eye. It was the AMP install service worker. So with the AMP install service worker, you can actually put on inside your AMP page like an iframe that will request your service worker to start. So the trick is, bottom line, the user will search on, the user will search on Google. Of course, AMP is only for mobile. That's the AMP. The user will search on their phone for results like hotels in Lagos. He will get an AMP result. He will open that page. As soon as the page is loaded, he will request the service worker in the background to start working for the progressive web app. The user will start reading about this page. Any click he will do on this page, it will be redirected to the progressive app with the app already loaded because it's been loaded on the background. So it's a combination of multiple technologies from Google, since Polymer, the PWA, the AMP, all together, and also with Go, but we're not talking about Go. It's also something we have on this project that make us be able to look to a brighter future. And we really think now that we are almost ready to go in production, actually. We already have this application on preview environments. It's publicly available for everybody. And we can see that on the last results that we can actually serve such an application in 2G fast, below 6 seconds, I think. Guys, I really want to thank you. I don't know if you have any questions at all about any of those 1,000 topics. Only one, okay.
Probably goes beyond the scope of this talk, but I was wondering, you said that they have like limit data, like 50 megabytes per month or something like that. So they download images. How do you do that? I don't know. How do you restrict the number of images they download? Because it takes a lot of data, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not totally sure about this. I have some numbers. I can tell you that the most common way for those guys, and the studies that I have is in Africa, but also in India, is that they have one phone, 2 cards. One card is usually used for phone calls and the other one for the data connection. And even when they decide to go offline because they don't want to accidentally download data, they will put their phone on airplane mode. So about the pictures, I don't know if they have some kind of filters or feature. I really don't know. But those are real numbers, and this is the reality over there.
So basically, in terms of pictures, what we try to make our pictures on the website as small as we can. You know, so we always ask the content team to try to upload them super small, and we are always looking at, because sometimes we found a picture on the website that is like 1 megabyte bigger, and said, forget it, take it off, put something smaller. But all the rest, yeah, you know, it's not easy for Africa. It's a hard market. So any more questions? No?
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Just a few information. We're gonna do a coffee break now. Afterwards, we're gonna have our last talk.